Hello everybody, and we are here for this session where we'll be discussing about the strategy for the upcoming SSC CGL 2025 examination. So we are around 4 months away from the registration process, and maybe the examination would also happen in the next 6 months. So we have a good amount of time, even for the beginners who are coming fresh. I would say welcome and welcome to this portal where we discuss and we try to dissect whatever has come in the examination in the past and whatever is going to help you out to clear this examination very smoothly. For everybody who have been hanging very close to the cutoff, I'll be talking about how to surpass that point and how to also do well in mains has also become a, like, pre was definitely a hurdle, but looking at the cutoffs, which are somewhere around 153, I believe that this entire examination has just become tougher with time. The competition is definitely high, but I'm not trying to bog you down. I'm not trying to bog you down or tell you that no, you can't do it. You definitely can do it. But the role of consistency and the role of accuracy has certainly gone up. So you'll have to, like, work accordingly at different tiers of the examination with different subjects. Okay. So I'll need some space to write. So I'll take you here. Okay. This is the first main page, the SSC CGL tier, like 1 and 2. So everybody who's new to this area, I'll tell you that this examination is split into two parts. One is the tier 1 and the second is the tier 2. The subjects, if you're not familiar, I'll just tell you that there are four subjects. First is GA, then there is English, then there is reasoning, and then there is maths. Okay. GERM, germ. Okay. There are four subjects. These same subjects would come up in tier 2 as well. Plus, there is a computer awareness subject. Okay. Computer awareness subject. Tier 1 is qualifying in nature. The maximum number of marks that you can score in tier 1 is 200, provided that normalization doesn't take it beyond 200 plus. So the non-normalized marks or the raw score which you can get is maximum 200, and in tier 2 the maximum score that you can get is 390. So first of all, in GA we'll get 25 questions. This entire section is qualifying in nature. Okay, I'm writing Q in question mark in the braces. Okay, it's qualifying in nature. 25 questions each. 25, 25, 25, and another 25. Okay, this is qualifying in nature. There is also another level which is the CPT, or which is also called the computer proficiency test, and the main thing which happens over here is typing. So in tier 2 we have the same thing going on. GA, English, which is basically section 2. Then there is maths and reasoning, which is basically section 1. The number of questions of GA is 25 in section 2 and English is 45. Similarly, the number of questions of maths here are 30 and reasoning are also 30. So this is the entire blueprint of what the scores look like, how much can be done, how much can't be done. And as you can see, the total number of questions in tier 2 are 130, and 130 when multiplied by 3 is equal to 390, which is the maximum score that you can get. And here the negative marking in tier 2 is minus 1 by 3, or for every, like, for every right question you do you get a plus 3. For every wrong question you do you get minus 1. Okay. Similarly, in tier 1 the negative marking scheme is a little different. For every question correctly that you do, here the number of questions are 200, 100. So for every question that you do right is plus 2, and for every question that you do wrong is minus 0.5. Okay, so the leverage that you can make and the amount of guesswork that you can do in prelims is much higher as compared to what you can do in the mains examination. So we'll be talking about how to guess things and how not to guess, but trust me, the examination has taken its turn in such a manner that guessing is not going to help people anymore, especially in tier 2 examination. In tier 1 you can still guess a hefty number of questions, but it's better that you know things very well so as to score well in the examination. Okay, I'll be needing a little more space, so moving to this area now. So the strategy which I have already talked about, it's basically that prelims has become very very competitive. The cutoffs are unpredictable because here we saw that 153 was the cutoff for general category, for unreserved category. Mocks are very necessary, but they are supposed to be given, like the mocks are supposed to be taken outside the comfortable area. Okay, you are not supposed to take mocks at home anymore. A few mocks can be taken at home, but please go outside and take the mocks, be it a coffee shop, be it some library where you study, or just don't be in your room. Just stay somewhere where there are a lot of people coming and going, so that you understand how disturbance works and how it really takes your score down. The more you bleed in the battle, the less you will bleed in the war. Okay, so it's better that you take the mocks outside of your comfort zone. This is a very very important point. Coming down to this point, that mains preparation is definitely integrated, because whatever is being asked in the pre-examination is also seen in the mains examination as well. Other than the overlapping subjects, the kind of questions also which are coming are very similar. So it's better, as soon as you get your answer keys out for tier 1, you should go through all of them and form your subject areas and form your areas which you need to study, write them down and then study them, especially in GA. Okay, especially in GA, it really helps. Then general awareness as usual is very vast. We'll be talking about its strategy in the end. It's pretty vast, so it's better that you start off with general awareness first. Get a grip on it, get a very strong grip on it, and once you're good in it, then it'll be very easy for you. English can be very difficult without regular reading. The ones who are from English medium backgrounds might not have a lot of problem, but the ones who are from the Hindi speaking belt and Hindi medium background as well, it will be difficult for them if they don't read. It's very important for reading. I have a separate strategy for that as well. Computer awareness questions right now, they are easy. Why am I calling them easy? Because they are repeated. They are repeated and they are repetitive in nature. So once this repetition ends, the new questions will come. That time the problem will occur. I have a very good and a separate strategy for computer awareness as well. Okay, so I'll be moving on. This important point, like the second area, which I feel everybody must know, is that silly mistakes are much more expensive than the correct questions. Okay, silly mistakes are very, very expensive. And this is very true for tier 2. Okay, this is very, very true for tier 2. Why? Because it isn't a plus 3 and a minus 1. It's basically a plus 1 and a minus 4. Now you'll ask me why. Let's assume that the student, out of 130, he did 110 questions he attempted. For the 110 questions he attempted, he could have easily scored 330 had all his questions been right. But his only 100 questions were right and 10 questions were wrong. So he scored 300 of positive side and minus 1 because of these 10 negative questions. So minus 10, and this brings him to 290. So you see the gap that has been created over here. There's a 40 mark gap which was created only because of these 10 negative questions. And everybody who was definitely, I shouldn't say that deserving, everybody deserves a post in the examination. That's very true. But everybody who worked very very hard and who's sitting somewhere in the lines of 30, 315, and let's say 320, they for particularly 2024 examination, they very well know that they could have easily hit 342 had they not commit any blunders or any silly mistakes. So just see what huge gap mistakes can create for you. Okay, inside the good cutoff and being very close to the margin. Okay, I'm not predicting the score, I'm not predicting the cutoff, but I'm just telling you what plight one has to go through when negative scores become very, like, negative scores hurt you a lot. This is very important to understand. And we need to minimize the guesswork. Everybody talks about guesswork in especially in GA, and you'll know that a lot of people who are using the guesswork thing in GA haven't been able to clear the examination. We need to minimize this, and we need to build the habit of minimizing the guesswork in the examination itself. Okay, we need to minimize the guesswork problem in the mock test itself. It shouldn't be happening that you have devise a new strategy during the, let's say, in the examination hall, that okay, now I'll do this time. You need to have a very consistent and a very clear strategy for the examination. Moving ahead, now we'll be talking subject specifically. There are 4 subjects that I've already told you. There's maths, reasoning, English, and GK. Firstly, I'll tell you in T1 as well as in Tier 2. In Tier 1, we have 25 questions of maths, and in Tier 2, there are 30 questions of maths. Looking at the kind of questions which have been asked by SSC in the recent examinations, you cannot differentiate between a Tier 1 or a Tier 2 examination. Sometimes the Tier 2 examination is easier as compared to the Tier 1 examination. So things are definitely unpredictable, but we are supposed to manage and we are supposed to prepare for the worst. 25 questions giving 2 marks each have a weightage of 50 over 200 in Tier 1. Similarly, 30 into 3, that makes it 90, and 90 over 390. So a very similar weightage of around like 25%, 25 to 30% in the examination. So this is the weightage of maths, Tier 1 as well as Tier 2. The kind of the syllabus is over here. We have gone down multiple levels, like this time and work in pipes and cisterns are taught together, and these two are also taught together, so need not be bogged down by the huge syllabus. There are multiple topics over here which are pretty easy, like heights and distances, which is a part of trigonometry. It's pretty easy. Okay, it can be easily done if you know the simple trigonometric ratios. And similarly, coordinate geometry, very few formulas are there which you need to revise, so not much of a hassle over here. These are all the topics that we are covering, that we are covering through our app, we are covering through the mock tests, and we'll be covering throughout the journey that you'll be here with us. There are only 2 topics, the first one being statistics and the second one being probability, which are earmarked for Tier 2. These topics are earmarked for Tier 2. They won't be asked in Tier 1, but I would recommend that these 2 topics, particularly probability and statistics, you can start from here because they are easy. Not a lot of hard work has to be given to statistics and probability. Very few formulas will need to be learned, and very few questions need to be understood, so as to clear like these 2 particular topics. So as to gain a grip over these 2 topics, very few things need to be tweaked. So it's better that you start from here. And these topics don't require a lot of ratio proportions or averages or percentages for solving. They can be solved easily. Okay. Then over here, you can definitely start off with percentages, then ratio proportions. Okay, I'll just write it down for you. First percentages, then ratio proportions, then you can go for profit and loss, then you can go for averages, and then maybe you can go for time and work, then sixth one being time and distance, and the seventh one being number systems. Okay, this is just a list. This is a very tentative list, and you can follow as you please, but it is my job to tell you what is easier and what is good for you. The main areas which might be difficult for you would be algebra, would be trigonometry, and maybe a little bit of mensuration, and geometry is definitely a tricky area. So these 3-4 areas need to be done multiple times, so as to save you in the examination. What are the things that need to be kept in mind for quantitative aptitude? The bedrock. This is the bedrock point, okay? And when I say the bedrock, I mean the foundation point. The foundation point is this, that the syllabus completion is a must before attempting the full subject mocks. or even for the sectional mock for maths alone needs to be attempted only and only after you're done with the after you're done with the entire syllabus. Okay, after you're done with the entire syllabus. Then secondly, sectional mocks can be taken after each and every chapter. Okay, keep a hold on the pyq. This is a very very important point. Pyq practice is very important, and you can, after, let's assume that you completed the portion of averages. Now, in our app, we have specifically dedicated areas where you can find all the questions, all the previous year questions of averages. So you can come and practice them on the app in the practice mode, or you can also go for the mock mode. Both the modes are available, and the app is very, very smooth in terms of running. So you can definitely come and attempt the sectional mocks on the 1EQ or the 1PYQ app. Okay, then there is this calculation practice, which is very 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 important. You need to have one sheet which has all the four things which I have written over here. Number one being tables, the second one being squares, the third one being cubes, and the fourth one being triplets. Okay, these these calculation sheets or these calculation practices help you immensely in the examination. You can also have a 4 digit multiplied by 4 digit in your daily routine. Okay, you can have, let's say, four such problems where you are multiplying 4 digit into 4 digit, so that it helps you build that calculation speed which is required in the examination. All right, moving to this point, that the practice should be done in a time bound manner. We were taking a doubt session, and in the doubt session we got to know that somebody is practicing maths for 3 hours a day, or let's say 4 hours a day. I sincerely believe that 3 to 4 hours a day is very, it's a very long time, and I don't recommend somebody spending so much time on maths. 2 hours, 2.5 hours is good, and in that time, you dedicate some time to completion of syllabus and dedicate some time to practicing. Okay, I hope we are good on this. PYQs, I've already said, they should be done very very regularly. There is also one more concept which I have not written over here, which can be the sixth point, which is diary of mistakes. Diary of mistakes. So, what happens in the diary of mistakes is that every time you find a question, this shouldn't be done in the beginning of the preparation. This should be done somewhere in the intermediate level of the preparation. Sometimes you will find that, sometimes you will find that in the diary of mistakes, that each and every question is coming as a mistake. That is not the right way to create a diary of mistakes. Once you've done the syllabus, once you've read the chapter, and you find some very intriguing questions or very interesting questions of your own, then you can note them down in a diary of mistakes. If you're very tech savvy and you're good at taking screenshots and maybe even using some stylus pens or something, so you can take the entire thing down in a PDF file or a Word file, wherever you feel comfortable. Okay, so that's how the diary of mistakes would be done. Diary of mistakes is the most important point, and you are supposed to revise it somewhere before the examination. Let's say once the dates are announced. Diary of mistakes is one of the most, how should I say, the most important book for mathematics is nothing but the diary of mistakes. Okay, so this, when I'm emphasizing on something this big and this much, you must know what its value is. Coming to English language and comprehension, this is a topic which is difficult for a good amount of students who are non English speakers. When I say non English speakers, I mean that during school they did not have English even as a second language. Okay, I'm expecting that hardly any school is there which is using English as a first language, but English as a second language was also taught to them very late, maybe even beyond class 6. Okay, so this is very important for them, and this is important for those as well who are not confident when it comes to English. This is the blueprint of the syllabus that is there for English. This is the entire blueprint of the syllabus that is there for English. The first thing which most of the people focus on is vocabulary building. And through vocabulary building, they catch the low hanging fruits. Okay. These are the low hanging fruits. It means that very few people commit errors in this and very few people get them wrong. So, vocabulary building is easy. The questions which would come would be from the areas of one word substitution, idioms and phrases, synonyms and antonyms, and spellings. Okay, you can pick up any book, you can pick up all the previous year questions, and trust me, the amount of previous year questions, if you do them regularly, the amount of previous year questions generated by SSC was around, I think, 7,000. I'll tell you. Yeah, I think we have 7,000 questions of each and every subject: English, maths, reasoning, and GK, only from the past year's 2024 examination. So just imagine the number of questions that you have already is huge. So instead of going for fresh sources, I would recommend that focus on PYQs. Okay, we have a list of these things available with us. Do contact us, do come to us through the doubt groups, and we'll be providing you everything on the Telegram channel as well. In the end, the link for the Telegram channel and everything is available. Then there is a portion of grammar where active, passive voice, direct, indirect speech, and errors and sentence correction is asked. Active, passive voice and direct, indirect speech has very few simple rules which you need to take care of. And once the rules are handy, you can easily attempt the questions. And errors and sentence corrections have been the same from the past couple of years. There are many teachers who have launched their 100 rule book or 100 points rules or something. So you can go through them. But there is a better strategy which will be coming in the next slide. Okay, the next to the next slide. You'll get a better strategy over there. Particularly, whatever is left is now this point of reading comprehension. Reading comprehension is neglected by a lot of students, but trust me, there are times when you make mistakes in reading comprehension. So we have proper strategies available in our app and everywhere else of how to read. Okay, these exercises are so simple. There are n number of comprehension passages available where we give you the techniques as well, that you have to attempt the questions first, or you have to understand the questions first, then go back to the passage and then start attempting. Okay, so these very few techniques and small tricks help you in the long run. SSC has stopped, like recently, stopped asking long paragraphs, and it has stopped asking huge paragraphs in the tier 2 examination. Okay, it's hardly seen that in the tier 2 examination you will find long paragraphs, but a good amount of focus is now returning to the PQRS, which is the sentence rearrangement, as well as the close tests. So it is part of the reading comprehension exercise only. Once you're able to understand something, then only you can apply your mind to it, and then only you can apply it to the correct answer, and then only you can tick the correct answer. So this is a very important area, and people tend to lose out marks. And in reading comprehension, lately it has been received that it has been like learned that tone of the passage tone of the passage has like become important, and the tone, the subject, or what kind of a message was being conveyed, or what sort of a passage was it a news report, was it let's say a newspaper report, or what? So this tone of the passage is also being taken up, and we'll be telling that very soon through the app or through our YouTube channel. Okay, so moving on, things to be kept in mind for English. Number 1, comprehension of what you're reading is the key to success. Comprehension of what you're reading is the key to success. What I actually mean by that is, if you're not able to understand what you're reading, it is going to be a tough call. And reading comprehension improvement doesn't only lead doesn't only focus on creating or scoring better marks in English, but you'll get better marks in maths, English, as well as maths, reasoning, as well as GK. You'll be scoring better marks provided that your comprehension becomes better. Why am I saying that? Because the amount of silly mistakes that people are making in the examinations are insurmountable. They are very, very huge. So this sort of a problem is being faced by everybody. So reading comprehension is the problem, or comprehending what you're reading is the problem. We have good exercises available for that, and we'll be highlighting things for you, so need not worry about it. Coming back, tricks can be applied very well in the comprehension area. Okay, tricks can be applied very well in the comprehension area, but they ought to be applied very sparingly. You need not apply all of them together. Okay, reading is the key. I have already said it. And tricks can be applied in the comprehension passage as well as the closed test passages. Everyday reading is a must. Only read what you can digest. This is the star point over here. And this is the unpopular opinion that reading the Hindu is not mandatory. Trust me, it is not mandatory for reading the Hindu. You can score well without reading the Hindu as well. And read whatever you like and read whatever you can digest. Okay? If you are somebody who doesn't understand English well, who doesn't really like reading at all, then it's better that you should go for the magazine section. Okay? Like Delhi Times or some gossip news or some, let's say, sports news, whatever you may like. Okay? Read it. It's okay. They don't write incorrect English. They don't use incorrect grammar in the funny areas as well. Okay? They tend to write correct grammar. So need not focus on the eloquent language used in the Hindu. You can go for the easy examinations or easy newspapers as well. Reading and listening together is a concept that we guys are working on. In this concept, what we'll be doing is whatever is there on the screen, there would be a speaker as well who would be speaking the same thing. It will be a different, there would be a differential of speed which will be created: fast reading speed, slow reading speed, and medium reading speed. So this will help you understand whatever you're reading. You'll be listening to it as well, not from your own mind but from the outside source. And this will help you create an engagement between whatever you're reading and between whatever is supposed to be understood. So there, this needs to be a hand in glove kind of a setup of whatever you're reading, you're supposed to comprehend it as well, right? I can't help but stress on this point that comprehension is equally important to reading. And when I say comprehension, I mean that you need to understand the meaning of whatever is written on the paper. Okay, so this is very, very important. Moving ahead, general intelligence and reasoning. This is typically an easier area as compared to the other three sections of the examination. These are all the kind of questions, these are all the topics which are covered. The number of topics might be huge, but trust me, each and every topic is hardly a 2-day game. Okay, you can finish off reasoning in, let's say, 20 into 2, 40 days maximum. Okay, this is the maximum time limit, and you need not study a lot of it every day. 30-minute or 40-minute, just staying in touch will help you. Okay, just stay in touch with reasoning. Need not lose touch from reasoning. Analogy, classification, coding, decoding. Okay, the only difficult areas which I feel have become for students is this series of figures. Okay, in which you find squares and you find different numbers. T, R, P is over here. Let's assume that P, R, T came here. Then a fourth option is there. Then the third option is there. Fourth option is there. And in the end, it may ask you, like, what is the fifth option that should come in the place. This is the only thing which is difficult for a few students. We have a hack for that, and we will help you with that. Then statement and conclusion, statement and assumption, clause and effect, course of action. All these things can be done together. There are very, very few technicalities which need to be corrected, so as to help you get full marks in this. Okay, very few points which you need to keep in your mind to get full marks in these 4 points, and trust me, these are one of the most difficult areas to solve. Then there is syllogism as well. Okay, there is syllogism as well, where people find difficulty, not in the easy ones, but the tough syllogisms actually become tough for a lot of people. Simple, I don't believe there's anything more difficult over here. I've already earmarked the ones which are a little difficult for some of the people here. Things to be kept in mind for general intelligence and reasoning. Number one, make notes of all the concepts. Okay, it is a good idea to make notes of all the concepts and all the chapters first. It's okay to go through all of them. Mock tests and everything would not be a problem because the time consumption in reasoning is very less. Okay, the time consumption is in reasoning is very less, so you need not worry a lot about the mocks. Then you need to practice daily or maybe even practice weekly. This will not be a problem for you. And if you have quicker mathematics calculations, it will help you save a lot of time in the reasoning section. For a student who is decent at reasoning, solving the 25 questions of reasoning in the pre-examination usually doesn't take more than 12 or 13 minutes. Okay, this is also a lot of time, trust me. And for somebody who's again comfortable with reasoning, solving the 30 questions in the mains examination doesn't take more than 20 to 23 minutes. Whatever time you save, you can focus the same time on maths. All right, moving ahead. General awareness. Okay, now this general awareness thing becomes a bone of contention, and this becomes a problem for everybody. Why? Because the kind of questions which are lately being asked in general awareness, they are maybe, let's say, a little off topic, a little out of syllabus. I won't say out of syllabus, but generally the level is now getting a little higher as compared to the past times. So our standard areas where we will focus on general awareness would be PYQs, definitely, for sure. These are the 7 topics which are main topics of general awareness. Okay, history, ancient, modern, and medieval. We would be providing standard texts to you. Okay, by what I mean when I say text, by text I mean books or PDFs. Okay, we'll be providing that to you of where to study what. Then there is geography. Then there is polity. There's not much change in polity. They are just going deeper. They are just going deeper as compared to the past times. Then economics. Economics is one of my favorite subjects because I learned all of it by my on my own. So economics is not, it might not be a problem for any one of you because economics has very limited areas to study. Okay, it has a limited area to study. Then there is census as well, which is a part of geography as well as economics. Okay, I have left that out. Census, they tend to ask a lot of questions for census. Then there is science. Science has all the physics, the chemistry, and the biology. In geography, there is a portion of ecology also, which they are asking. Yeah, there's ecology also that they are asking. And in science, we have the 3 parts where we are splitting at physics, chemistry, and biology. Okay. Then there is static GK of all the dances, the rivers. Oh, sorry, rivers was a part of geography. All the dances, all the books, the authors, the appointments, as well as the current affairs, the chief ministers, the new ones which have changed all across the world. So everything would be covered. For static GK, the magazine is already there, but we'll be sending out a new one. For current affairs, the English version of 2024 is already out. All the other languages which we've promised, we'll be giving them out very, very soon. For January 2025, all the languages we've already covered, all the languages for January 2025. Okay. Things to be kept in mind for general awareness. The first one is tricks are only applicable when you know the concepts very well. For somebody, let's assume that there are 25 questions in the examination, in the pre examination. If you are somebody who is getting 13 questions, sure shot right, I would tell you not to apply any tricks, not to go for guesswork. Okay, 13 questions sure shot is a good score, is a very, very good score. For somebody who is getting, let's say, 18 questions sure shot right, I would tell them that, okay, go ahead. Let's say 2 or 3 questions, you can take a risk on it. For anybody who's going 20 plus, I really believe that it's their call. They can go for, if they like the score, if they are very happy with the 40 marks that they're going to get, the prestigious 40 marks in GA, which they might get if they are, like, let's say, brave enough, they may. go ahead and do a few. Let's again, I would give them a small leverage of two or three guesswork questions. Else, I don't recommend anybody to go for any guesswork. Okay. Read theory from any book of your choice. This is very important, but keep only one source. Okay. Keep only one source. Keep on adding new things to the same source. If you find that some new question has come, which would be dealt with in the PYQ analysis or in the mock analysis, I would recommend that please take a small note of it. Okay, please take a small note of it. Then, note making is an excellent habit, should be done while keeping PYQs in mind. You can either read all the PYQs, you can either read all the PYQs. I'll tell you, in particularly in GK, what happens is we first read the theory and then we come to the PYQs. So in this particular approach, what goes wrong is the theory, whatever we have read, might not be relevant to the examination. Okay, might not be relevant to the examination. So it's better that you first like skim through, easily skim through all the questions which have been asked recently. And once you have established that, okay, these are the main focus areas which need to be dealt with, then go ahead and go for the theory source. Okay, I think that's pretty much about GK. And one source, multiple revision, I've already talked about it. Okay, one source, multiple revisions. I'll be entertaining all the doubts on the Telegram channel, okay, for 1EQ doubts section. Things to be kept in mind for current affairs. Okay, current affairs is also something very important. Recently, current affairs are not being asked much, but you never know when the current affair thing is going to become the next hype. Okay, you never know when these things go viral. Monthly current affairs with practice questions must be done. I would recommend. I would see. We don't have this policy where we say that every time go for our material. Our material. Our point is we have curated all the PYQs in one place. You can come and use them. Okay, but for especially for current affairs, our material is very extensive, and it is going to help all of you for sure. Okay, so use one EQ current affairs PDF and the app to attempt questions. Yearly current affairs should also be done regularly, but only from a single source. Keep a check on the questions being asked in the current affair in the current year. Okay, let's say that 2025 is the year when you'll be taking the examination, so keep a check on all the PYQs or the current year questions. Okay, not the previous year but the current year questions which are being asked. The weightage is going down for the last few examinations, but we need to be prepared for the worst case scenario. Okay, we need to be prepared for the worst case scenario and always follow the new to the old approach. What happens is in 2025, let's say we are right now sitting in February, January, whatever affairs that your whatever affairs like whatever current affairs that you might have seen, that you might have heard, you might be going out, you might be reading the newspaper. Whatever you see is somewhere still kept in the mind. Okay, it might be somewhere in the subconscious memory or in the very recent memory. So it's better that you start off from January 2025 current affairs. Okay, start from the January 2025 current affairs, then go in the reverse direction. Okay, go for December, go for all the months of 2024, December, then November, then October. Okay, go in this direction. It is very important for you to follow that. Further, things to be remembered for computer awareness. Computer awareness also has become a hot topic, but the only point in computer awareness is that it is qualifying in nature. Okay, qualifying in nature. This is qualifying in nature. So the PYQs are the only source for us now. There are around, let's say, 500 to 6, no, not 500. Yeah, around 300 to 400 questions have been asked in the past examination, including CHSL. So first focus should be PYQs only. Any theory book in the market would suffice for PYQ questions, for computer science questions. Then apply all the like Excel, PPT, and Word shortcuts to in your day-to-day life. This is a very important thing. I believe most of you must be having laptops or computers or desktops at home, or maybe in your office, maybe in the institute where you study. So try to apply all the shortcuts. Use them once or twice so that you know what control E does. Okay, what control E does to a paragraph, what control plus L does to a paragraph, what control plus R does to a paragraph. Okay, so these things are pretty important, which you should know. Be ready for a tougher future in computers because the easy questions have already been asked. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that tough questions would be asked in the examination. For whatever query that you have, the doubt group's name is one, as in ONEEQ official. Okay, you can come there. We are available to solve all your doubts. Okay, one EQ official, and we hope that everybody would be with us in the preparation. We'll try to make it as easy as possible for all of you, and that's pretty much it. So thank you.